Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine and doing great. My dear students, as you know that the topic we are studying is air and water. Yes, we are studying about air and water. Today also we are going to continue with the same topic. My dear students, today we are going to learn about, our topic is purification of water. Yes, our topic for today is purification of water. We are going to learn about various methods by which we purify water. So our topic is purification of water. Students, as you all know that the 70% of the surface of earth is covered with water. Yes, the surface of earth, the 70% of the surface of earth is covered with water. Students, the water that is supplied to our homes through taps is not pure. That water is not pure. It has certain impurities in it. Yes, the water that we receive in our homes through taps, the water that is supplied to our homes is not pure. Certain impurities are present in the water. Some common impurities that are found in water are some soil particles, some remains of plants and animals, certain wastes. Some of the impurities are soluble in water and some are insoluble. Yes, the impurities that are present in water, they may be either soluble or insoluble. Soluble impurities, we cannot see them with our naked eye. Soluble impurities, they are soluble in water, completely dissolved in water, so we cannot see them with the help of our naked eye. Whereas insoluble impurities, they are not dissolved in water and we can see them. So the impurities that are present in the water, they may be either soluble and insoluble. But both insoluble and soluble impurities, they must be removed from water before we use it. Both of these impurities must be removed from water before we use the water, because these impurities are very dangerous for us. They can cause certain diseases in us. So we must remove these impurities before using the water. Are you getting me? Very good. Students, the first method which is used to remove insoluble impurities from water is sedimentation and decantation. Yes, sedimentation and decantation. In the process of sedimentation and decantation, insoluble impurities are first allowed to settle down at the bottom of container. Yes, the insoluble impurities that are present in the water, they are allowed to settle down at the bottom of the container of water. They are left undisturbed for some time, and after that they get settled down at the bottom. These impurities are called sediments. The impurities that settle down at the bottom of the container of water, these impurities are called sediments, and this process is called sedimentation. Yes, this process is called sedimentation. And after that, after the sediments have settled down, after the impurities have settled down at the bottom of the container of water, the top layer of the clean water, that top layer of the clean water, that top layer of the clean water, it is poured into another empty container. It is poured into another empty container, but without disturbing the sediment. The sediment is left undisturbed, and the top layer of clean water that is present above the sediment, it is gently poured into another empty container. And this process is known as decantation. This process is known as decantation. And in this way, the insoluble impurities, they are removed from the water and we get a layer of clean water. Students, let me give you an activity. Okay? What you will do, you will fill half of a beaker with water. You will fill half of a beaker with water and then add some sand in it. Okay? You will mix some sand in this beaker of water. And then you will leave this beaker undisturbed for almost 10 minutes. You will leave it undisturbed. After 10 minutes, you will see that the sand has settled down at the bottom of the beaker. The sand has settled down at the bottom of the beaker. This means that the sand is our sediment. It is the impurity and it has settled down at the bottom. So sand here is the sediment and this process is sedimentation. After that, what you will do, you will separate the sand from water by pouring the clear water from the top slowly into another beaker. What you will do, you will separate sand and water. How will you do it? You will just pour the layer of clear water, that is above the sediment, you will just pour it into another beaker without disturbing the sediment. This process is called decantation. So you can practically do the process of sedimentation and decantation at home. So students, you will do this activity at home. You will perform it yourself and you will record your observations and you will write it down in your scrapbooks. Very good. Students, now let's talk about the second method that is used to remove insoluble impurities from water. The second method is filtration. Filtration is also used to remove insoluble impurities from water. And what is filtration? Filtration is the process of removing insoluble impurities from water with the help of filter. In this process, in the filtration, we remove insoluble impurities from water with the help of a filter. We use a filter in this process to separate the impurities from water, to remove the insoluble impurities from water. Students, to understand the process of filtration better, you will take a beaker and fill half of it with water. You will take a beaker and fill half of it with water and then mix some sand into it. After that, you will take another beaker and tie a piece of clean cotton cloth on the mouth of this second beaker. You will take two beakers. In the one beaker, you will add water and mix some sand in it. And in the second beaker, you will tie a piece of cotton cloth on its mouth. Are you getting me? This cloth here, this cotton cloth, piece of cotton cloth will act as a filter. It will act as a filter. After that, you will take the beaker number 1 in which you have mixed sand and water. You will take that beaker and you will pour the water slowly onto the cotton cloth. You will pour the water from the first beaker slowly onto the cotton cloth that you have tied on the second beaker. Are you getting me? On the second beaker. Are you getting me? After that, you will observe that the sand will get collected on the cloth. The sand will get collected on the cotton cloth and the clean water will get collected in the beaker. The sand will get collected on the cotton cloth. And in this way, you can remove insoluble impurities from water by using a filter. In this activity, in this method, the cotton cloth will act as a filter, and because of this filter, we are able to remove sand from water. So this process is filtration. It is the process of removing insoluble impurities from water with the help of filter. Are you getting me? Very good. Students, now let's learn about the methods by which we can remove soluble impurities from water. Yes, now let's talk about some methods which can help us to remove soluble impurities from water. Number 1 method is boiling. Number 2 is chlorination. Boiling and chlorination. These two methods help us in removing soluble impurities from water, in removing those impurities that are not visible to us. Now let's first talk about boiling. Students, when we boil the water, most of the germs present in the water, they die, they get killed. So boiling kills most of the germs present in water. Boiling also converts some soluble impurities into insoluble ones. The soluble impurities that are present in the water, they get converted into insoluble ones with the help of boiling. And after that, these impurities, they settle down at the bottom and sides of container. And after that, we can easily remove those insoluble impurities by filtration. So this boiling, it converts some of the soluble impurities into insoluble ones, and then those insoluble impurities, they get settled down at the bottom and sides of container, and after that we can easily remove them by filtration. So with the help of boiling, we can remove the soluble impurities from water, and also most of the germs present in the water, they get killed by boiling. Are you getting me? Good. Now let's talk about chlorination. Students, to kill the germs in water, chlorine is added in small amounts to water. Chlorine tablets. Chlorine is added in small amounts to water. We add chlorine to the water so that the germs present in the water, they get killed. But this chlorine is added in traces. It is added in small amounts. Also, the water that we receive at our homes, that is supplied to our homes, the tap water that is supplied to our homes, that is also chlorinated. That is already chlorinated. Chlorine has been already added into the water that we receive at our homes. We can also buy the chlorine tablets from a chemist shop to disinfect the water at home. If we want to disinfect the water at home, we can buy the chlorine tablets from a chemist shop, and then if there are any germs left in the water, they will get killed. Apart from chlorine, iodine tablets can also be added to drinking water to disinfect it. Apart from chlorine tablets, we can also add iodine tablets to water, to drinking water, so that the germs, if there are any other germs which are left in the water, they will also get killed. So with the help of chlorination, we can remove the soluble impurities. We can remove the germs that are not visible to us, that we cannot see with the naked eye. We can remove those germs from the water. My dear students, now let's talk about the method by which we can make the water fit for drinking at home. Students, the simplest way to make drinking water safe at home is to filter it and boil it for 15 to 20 minutes. All we have to do is to filter the water and then boil it for almost 15 to 20 minutes to get rid of all the impurities. Nowadays, we are also using water filters for the process of filtration, isn't it? Yes, we are using water filters for filtration purposes. These water filters, they have a filter candle inside them that is made of either filter paper or ceramic material. This filter candle is either made of filter paper or ceramic material. Both filter paper or ceramic material, both of them have tiny pores inside them, very tiny holes inside them that traps the impurities. The tiny pores inside the filter paper or ceramic material, these tiny holes, what do? They trap the impurities present in the water and they allow the clean water to pass. The clean water passes through these holes, but the impurities, they get trapped. They get trapped in these tiny holes. And this is the reason why we have to replace our filter candle. We have to replace these filter candles at regular intervals because the impurities are present in it. Impurities get trapped inside it. So we need to clean them and we need to replace them after certain intervals to get rid of all those impurities. Are you getting me? Yes. Students, nowadays we are also using RO water purifiers at our home. Isn't it? We are using reverse osmosis, that is RO purifiers at our homes to purify the drinking water. These purifiers are also used to purify drinking water. So these are the some methods by which we can make drinking water fit for drinking at home. Are you getting me? Very good. Students, have you heard about distilled water? Have you heard anything about distilled water? Okay, let me tell you. Distilled water is the purest form of water. It is the purest form of water. And this distilled water, how is it formed? How is it obtained? It is obtained by condensing the water vapors. Yes, this distilled water, it is the purest form of water, and it is obtained by condensing water vapors. This distilled water is usually used in science laboratories and in car batteries. It is used in science laboratories and car batteries, and this distilled water is obtained by a process known as distillation. Are you getting me? It is obtained by a process known as distillation. Students, to obtain the distilled water, water is first allowed to boil. Yes, water is first allowed to boil, and after some time the water, it changes into vapor. It changes into gaseous form. It changes into vapor, and all the impurities that are present in the water, they are left behind, because the water, it changes into vapor, leaving behind all the impurities that are present in it. These vapors are then collected. These vapors are then collected and condensed. These vapors of the water, when water gets converted into the vapor form, these vapors are collected and condensed. They are collected, condensed, and allowed to cool in another beaker. Are you getting me? These vapors are collected and condensed to obtain distilled water, and on cooling, these vapors change into distilled water, and this process is known as distillation. This is known as distillation. So it is a process by which we can obtain distilled water, and in this process we condense the water vapors to obtain distilled water. Are you getting me? Students, the small water drops that can be seen under the lid of a cooking pot, they are also an example of distilled water. Students, if you pick up a lid of a cooking pot, you will see small water drops that are present under the lid. These water droplets are also distilled water. These are also the example of distilled water. Also, the dewdrops that we see on the leaves of plants in the early morning, they are also an example of distilled water. Are you getting me? The dewdrops that we can see, the dewdrops that we see on the leaves of the plant in the early morning, they are also example of distilled water. Are you getting me? Very good. So students, this was all for today. I hope you understood today's topic. I will see you next time, inshallah. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.